Hey, Go Knucklers, it's Flo here, and welcome back to Go Knuckle Talk with Flo. And I want to get the show started quick because we got some fascinating ladies here on our show. And of course, my number one fascinating lady is Lisa Nolan Hafner, my co-host. Hey, Lisa, we're both from class of '83. So,
Hi, Michael.
who do we have tonight?
Oh, I'm so excited for numerous reasons. One, because we have this spectacular group of women who accomplished something really big in Plainview and, girl power. And then secondly, because we have had so many guys on this show, I'm so thrilled to have some fellow women join us tonight. So please welcome some of the players of the 86-87 state championship team and their illustrious coach. We're going to start with her, Coach Kathy Harston, Ramona Black Graves, Joy Hodgson, Lisa Riggins, and Rolanda Curry. Welcome, ladies, to our show. Thank you so much for agreeing to have this conversation with us tonight. So I'm going to go around the room here and ask you where you are currently living, and what class you graduated, and what position you played on that team. So I'm going to start with Rolanda.
I live outside of Waco, in McGregor, Texas. I graduated in 1988 and I played post.
Okay, Lisa.
I live in Arlington, Texas, and I graduated a class of '87, and I played what we call wing.
Excellent. Boy.
Yep, I live in Lubbock, Texas now. I graduated in the 1987 class, and I also played post.
Excellent. Ramona?
And I live outside of Waco. I live in McGregor also, and I played point guard or shooting guard, I guess. I don't know.
For sure.
Well, cool.
And Coach Harston, where did you graduate from high school?
I graduated at that time. It was a really small school in the Metroplex, South Lake Carroll.
Oh, wow.
Back in 1976,
Okay.
and then went from there to Wayland to play basketball.
Excellent. Okay.
Under Coach Reese. Yes.
That's how you ended up in Plainview.
It is. I played for the Queens for 4 years and graduated it from Wayland in 1980.
Cool. Did you guys win any national championships while you were there?
We did not, and it still pains me to say that. We were very, very good all 4 years, but we went to the Final Four out at UCLA in '78. That was my sophomore year in college, but we lost in the semifinals. Had a really good team that year, but yeah, great memories of Plainview at Wayland, and of course at coaching these guys at Plainview High School.
Well, cool. What position did you play back in college?
I was a point guard. I wasn't as good a shooter as Ramona, but I did play point guard at
Who are you kidding?
Right.
We watched you.
You guys know Coach Weiss would never let me shoot, but I actually was a point guard for the Queens.
Okay.
Yeah.
I bet you she could take you ladies on a game of horse. So
Oh yeah.
I'll put my money on Coach.
Well,
Probably got a good bit.
give me a little time. I don't know that I can beat anybody in anything right now, but I would sure try.
Yes. So I want to tell you guys something really funny. I was telling Lisa that I remember when Tech won their national championship with Cheryl Swoops, and I saw a shirt. I wish I'd have bought it. That it said Texas Tech, where men are men and women are champions. So it made me think of you guys. I'm like, yeah, I should have made a shirt for that. But Lisa, let's start off with the questions.
Yeah, well, I do want to ask Coach Harston, where are you living now?
I actually live in Austin, Texas.
Okay.
I work at the University of Texas. I'm actually starting year number 33 here at the University of Texas.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And you went from Plainview straight to UT, correct?
I did. I left for 4 years after I retired from coaching. I got talked into going to the University of Tennessee and being the director of basketball operations there. But then ended up coming back to Texas in 2012 in an administrative role, and have been in that position ever since. And
Nice.
I have a great job. Love what I do. I'm around coaches and student athletes every day, and I've got 6 sports that I provide sport oversight for. So I travel constantly, go on the road with my teams that I support. So I've got a great job.
Cool.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Cool.
How fortunate that you are.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So, ladies, right off the bat, I do want to ask the first question that we had sent you, and that's at the start of the 86-87 school year, you show up for your first practice, and this is I'm going to ask I'll ask the question, and then I'll ask somebody, and then other people can answer it. I mean, like, did you know, especially because y'all had played together so much, but that year, did you know at that first practice that you had something special and that you really had the potential for going all the way? I mean, was that even in your foresight? So, Ramona, I'm going to pick on you first, honey.
I probably would say, yeah. I think we had kind of, I think just us playing together from little dribblers days to just being together for so long, we just kind of figured it was our year. I do know, like, that first practice of this, I don't know if it was the first practice or the fourth, but I know we ran cross country our senior year. we were forced to run cross country, and you had to compete in two of the tournament of the, what are they called, meet. Yeah. So yeah, that was it was something else.
I forgot about that, Ramona, but
Listen,
now that you said
I
that, I'm
never
like,
forget. I tell everybody,
yeah.
I was a two-sport person.
To this day, I owe you guys a huge. It was Coach Cooper's idea that you run cross country.
It's Coach Cooper.
It wasn't my idea, but to this day, I owe you guys an apology for that cross country meet at Hereford. The way when we were going up there, and it started.
It was sleeting and snowing.
And snowing, but I at least let you run in your sweats. Remember? I said, Janie, there's no way I'm going to make them run in shorts and a sleeveless shirt. They're wearing their sweats.
Oh my
Wow.
God.
Now that I'm older, I was like, if I had to do it all over again, I would never do that to you guys. I promise you. I would never do that.
Coach Harston, so was that Coach Cooper's idea of cardio training for
Yes.
stamina?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. I was not a runner by any stretch of the imagination, but she was also the track coach. If y'all remember,
Yes.
Janie coached track. Oh, there's Becky. Okay.
Hey.
Hi, Becky.
Guys.
So she was like, instead of making them run, let's run cross country. And I was like, no.
Oh my
It was totally her idea.
Well, but you know, basketball players are not cross country athletes.
No.
Especially Ramona.
Yeah, I had a horrible attitude as it relates to
Did you ever fake an injury?
That's the first thing Ramona brought up.
Yeah. Did you ever fake an injury?
No faking injuries. I remember one of the things we had to beat. If you competed in the meet, you had to beat somebody. It had to be outside. It couldn't be. It couldn't just be somebody from the team. And I remember this. I chose to run in the district meet, and Joy and I ran together, and she took off in a sprint towards the finish line and left me. So I always remember, I tell that story all the time. It's like, yeah, I said, but Joy ran with me the whole time, and then she took off in a sprint. It's like, but I never faked an injury, but
okay.
I probably should have. I should have thought of that back then. I was pretty dedicated by my senior.
Well, welcome, Becky. I think Lisa, you want to ask her the 3 questions, and then we'll get into Verlanda, and she can answer. So anyway.
So Becky, where are you living now?
I live in Akron, Colorado. An hour earlier than you guys, which is why I'm late. It did not occur to me that it was not Mountain Standard Time.
Oh. Well, and then what year did you graduate?
I graduated in 1987.
Okay, and what position did you play?
Center.
Awesome.
3 posts, huh?
Oh yeah.
So who's the tallest?
Becky.
Yeah, I think I might have been.
Well,
Who knows who's the tallest now?
Right.
We're shrinking.
We're all
absolutely.
that
Definitely.
stage of life for sure. So
Well,
go
I was
ahead.
gonna say, Verlanda, as a junior, what did you think about the senior girls and what Lisa asked? Did you feel that this is a team that was gonna go far in the playoffs?
I think back then I was just more concerned that because I hung out with the upperclassmen, I was just more concerned that this was going to be my last time playing with them.
Oh,
Okay, that's cool because that's a lot of you guys that left. What about you, Lisa? What do you think about this team at the beginning of the season?
Oh, I'm a lot like Ramona. I felt like we were destined to win. And another thing is, I don't know if you all remember when Coach Harston had made the little roster and we had this talk about, they have us ranked 28th, right? I think it was 28th they had us ranked. And she put together this list of how many games we had, how many times we had to win and everything. So I think from the beginning we pretty much knew, because like Ramona said, we have been playing together since, I think me and Ramona have been playing together since probably the second grade.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of these, I got a lot of notes from Danny Andrews' article, and one of the things said that you guys were placed third in Little Dribblers in a national tournament.
Yeah.
Now, was that like an actual national, like the whole country?
Mhm.
Wow.
And you know what's funny is that the people that beat us were all the kids that played for South Oak Cliff.
South Oak Cliff.
Wow.
So
And
that was
that's a big city. Did they have some tall women there? Like
it
6
for-
footers?
Oh yeah, South Oak Cliff did. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
because usually
everybody
your
was
big
taller
cities.
than our team that year.
Yeah.
So Becky was the tallest, and we had no 6 footers.
No,
No.
not a one.
Yeah.
5'10" and 3/4.
Wow. Okay. Well, what you think, Becky? What you think about this team at the beginning?
Yeah, I was new. I moved in when I was a sophomore. And
Okay.
so I was new. I was not aware of the Little Dribblers connection and all that kind of stuff at the time, but we all played together, our junior year and all that. So, and I know we had a lot of love for one another, and we were a social group. The people I know from Plainview are my teammates. I don't know folks that weren't on my team that well. So yeah, I think our prospects were very good. We were small, but we were fast and we worked hard. Coach Harston had this thing about running us for turnovers, and so we did a lot of running.
Yeah.
I was remembering that she had this goal for us that we could only have 8 turnovers in a game. And when you think about that, that is not very many
No.
mistakes. And if we had more than 8, we were running at the next practice. So
Did you guys
said
ever question? I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. Finish.
no.
Did we do
Not even
that?
question one.
Right.
Like, hey,
Huh?
no, that wasn't a turnover. She should have
No.
caught it. No. Okay.
No, because it didn't matter. We were all going to run.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And we ran snakes. It seemed like one time we ran like 20
it was in
something.
excess of 20, 25,
Yeah.
26.
And we were
Wow.
like, we were nervous. It's because we were nervous. She wasn't having it. It's like, she put the whistle in her mouth and blew it and just ran.
I think there was actually a time limit on our runs too. You had to make
Yeah.
them in a certain amount of time.
Oh wow. Oh
So
wow.
coming in your sophomore year, did you feel really welcomed by this team? Like they embraced you right away and said, "Hey, you're part of us"?
Yeah, I think so. I don't, it's so long ago, I don't ever remember feeling like I was outside. I was, and then of course there were older seniors, the 2 classes above us that were on the team then. So yeah, no, I always felt welcomed.
Oh. What about you, Coach? What'd you think about this team?
The first thing I want to tell them is, and Danny had sent me some stuff, and I forgot that this team was the first team to ever win a state championship at Plainview High School. which that is something that, you know, when you stay in sports as long as we all have, and I have, you know, it's a tough profession, and it's all about being first. And that's something that no one can ever take away from them, is that they're the first team ever at Plainview High School. And rightfully so. It's why these guys deserve to be in the Plainview Hall of Fame. And it's just such a cool honor for them. And yes, you know, I had a really good feeling about this team for a lot of the reasons that they just mentioned. They were just ultimate teammates, friends, and it's there's a lot to be said for players that grow up together and around each other all the time and know each other really, really well. And you know, a lot of people use the term loosely. These are my sisters and these are my brothers, but this group really, for the most part, did really care about each other. That they were a real family. And I thought about this team so much over especially the last couple of years, and just how special they were as people. I mean, and everybody just respected them so much at Plainview High School, and it's just really thrilling. At South Lake Carroll in '75, our high school girls basketball team was the first team to ever win a state championship at South Lake Carroll. And we still, my teammates and I, you know, we still act like we were the world champions of the world over that team. You know what I'm saying? And we still talk about it to this day. And 3 or 4 of them are still my very best friends to this day, that we talk all the time. And same with a lot of my Flying Queen teammates that, I don't know, I didn't tell them about this, but have reached out and just like, gosh, we remember that team so well. So, you know, when you get my age, and these guys are getting a little bit older, it's really fun to reminisce. But this was a special group, you know, the first team ever to win a state championship at Plainview High School. And that, you know, that's to their credit. And they trust me, they did it in spite of me. I can assure you that right now. But man, if I could go back and do it all over again, I promise you I wouldn't make you run. I'd be much nicer.
No.
And listen, and we would still get the same outcome, because that's why because you guys were so good. Okay.
Yeah.
But no, it's really, I've had a lot of people at the University of Texas. Somebody broke the story around here, and you know, I've just had a lot of people ask me questions about this team. So it's been fun talking about them, because you just don't forget groups like this that work so hard for you as a coach, and they came to practice every day. You know, they were just fun, you know, and they, each one of them had a different personality. I mean, Lisa was never gonna let us get way too serious with things. She could always lighten the mood. You know, you guys, I remember, I don't know if y'all do, this group went 14-0 in district, and that meant we had to go win on the road at Monterey, and we had to go win on the road at Amarillo High, which was 2 tough places to play. And you know, each one of them had great games at some point in time. But I remember, do y'all remember how good Verlonda played at the game at Monterey that year? I mean, they had absolutely no answer for her whatsoever. But I was thinking about that as well. But you know, and Ramona went on and played college basketball. And so it's, you know, you guys should just be really proud of this moment, because it's a proud moment for me, for you guys, I can assure you.
Cool. That's well said. You know, I'm gonna throw a curveball at you guys. I believe you guys lost 6 games. Am I correct? Do you guys remember which 6 schools beat y'all, Joy?
Levelland, no doubt.
We lost to Levelland twice.
Twice. And they won a
twice.
state champ. They won a state champ that year.
Yeah, so I think
It was a sweep.
Yep.
that year, everybody on the Panhandle, you know, 1A to 5A, won the state tournament that year. So everybody who won the state tournament was from our region. And so we would have played them in preseason tournaments. And yeah, we lost to Levelland. I think we lost to Abernathy one time in a fluke early on. Canyon, maybe we probably lost to Canyon once.
I would have had to get records out to remember.
Yeah.
I know our losses were in the tournaments. So And
Okay.
and we really felt like we were, you know, the tournaments were stacked against us. They had us playing the hardest teams first. I know y'all remember.
There weren't really many easy teams in the Queen's Classic. If it wasn't
No,
what I
there
learned
wasn't.
about
Well,
it.
that, and we had Slayton, and we had the Levelland tournament. So that's where the losses came in.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Levelland, Slayton, Morton, and Sudan are the teams that won the state champ. So, okay, that makes sense. You guys lost to
Those are
them
good
then.
teams.
Yeah, absolutely.
But in regular play, you were undefeated. Regular season
Correct.
play.
Correct.
Wow.
In district.
In
District
District.
and after. Yeah.
Okay. And one of the things that I did, Danny, that I noticed reading Danny's article, you guys beat everyone in the playoffs by 10 points or more, except for which one was it? I forgot which team it was. Yeah, y'all only beat them by 8 points, but the rest of them was double digits. Fort Worth, Richland, you guys beat them by 8 points, but the rest of us by 10. That's pretty impressive, ladies. Very impressive. So why again? Did we lose somebody?
We did lose somebody. Hopefully she'll come back on.
Yeah,
Okay, we lost Ramona.
It was Ramona. Yeah.
So go ahead, Lisa.
Besides the fact that a lot of you played together for so long in your lives, I mean, like, what was different about that year in your squad that was a real catalyst to your success? Like, how did you overcome your defeats or setbacks? Like, what was, if you could pinpoint something that was a key to your success? And obviously, you know, I mean, I played sports my whole life. You have to have a level of cohesiveness with your teammates, almost to the point of reading each other's minds, reading each other's moods, reading each other's facial expressions. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it when you are part of a team. You're functioning as a unit, not as an individual player, really. So can you share a little bit about, you know, what was the catalyst to your success and why? Becky, I'm going to start with you.
I would say it was the hard work that we put in. We put in a lot of work in the belief that we could do it. And so, yeah, and we were, you know, I think Coach Harston was absolutely correct in running us that hard. Our sloppy habits had to been changed, and we just needed to be in good enough shape to do what we ended up doing. So
that's so funny
yeah.
you say that, Becky. I distinctly remember you back then talking about, oh, I'm so sloppy. So to hear you say that right now, I'm like, that's what you used to say when you were 18. Oh,
see, I don't remember these things. I'm getting old and senile.
I remember you saying sloppy practices.
Sloppy. Yeah. Well, we were sloppy with the turnovers the whole way. We were sloppy with the ball, but we made enough rebounds and steals to make up for it, I guess.
Rolanda,
I would add.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I don't know who put this in our mind, but when we were soft, I think it was Coach Harston, if I'm not mistaken. So y'all correct me if I'm wrong. Somebody encouraged us to actually go to the state tournament and watch the state tournament games when we were sophomores. And so, and this is our Gen X showing through. We went by ourselves. We didn't have our parents with us. I don't know how we found a hotel. We certainly didn't have cell phones. We just took off. There were 5 or 6, 7 of us maybe. And we actually went down to Austin and watched the state tournament.
Were we in my deuce and a quarter?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't believe, like, there's no way you'd send off 15 or 16-year-olds by themselves now. But back then we just went.
We went.
And so we did that our sophomore year and our junior year. And I think for me, I remember thinking, they're no better than we are. We can go there. And so when we went into our senior year, it was like, hey, our goal is the state tournament. And so we just had this mindset. And I really attribute that to going to the state tournament and watching it and seeing that we're just as good as the girls that made it there. So we could do it.
Cool.
So for the people that didn't go watch the state tournament, those of you that did go, did you kind of instill that fire in everybody? Like, hey guys, we can do this. We've been there. We saw they're not better than us. Did y'all talk up the other teammates to encourage them? Like, we got this.
I don't remember that. I mean, it was just a given that we were going to work hard enough to do that. But I don't remember necessarily having to pull anybody along on it. Everybody was in.
Yeah, Coach Harston had that thing Lisa was talking about at the beginning that said, here are the steps we have. I think it was a ladder.
Yeah.
And here's the games we have to win to get to the state tournament. That was from day one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Coach, that's pretty cool. I mean, did you get that from Coach Weiss, or that's just something you came up with?
I cannot even remember, but you know, they obviously paid attention. You know what I'm saying? I would totally attribute it. It's so hard to get players to anybody on any team to accept a role, and that's what I think this really was so easy to identify on this team. Everybody understood what their role was. They were just so supportive of each other. And I did not, you would be surprised at how hard nowadays, because I'm around college teams all the time, or teams all the time, how much work you have to put into building chemistry, building a team, getting people to understand their roles. But that we never really, now there might've been days that, yeah, we were sloppy in practice, but there were not very many days that this team did, like Becky talked about, they've all talked about this, did not work hard. There were not days that people came to practice moody, that, you know, they just came to practice. We did our little 2 hours or hour and 45 or whatever, and called it a day and went home. So it's not like I was having to spend, or Coach Cooper, we weren't having to spend a whole lot of time coaching effort or coaching anything. And as a coach, that's the ultimate that you can say about your players. Because if we had to spend a lot of time coaching effort that year, we would not have won the state championship. And it was already in their minds. All of these ladies are tough, strong-minded women, let me tell you. And they were just like that at 16, 17, and 18. And they already knew in their minds, and really, I just tried to stay out of the way and give them a pathway to get there, just because, you know, they were as good as anybody in West Texas. And, you know, that year it was really, really tough. A lot of the teams we played in, again, beating Monterey and Amarillo High on the road, that's saying a lot about this team, because there's very few times that Plainview's ever been able to do that. So just didn't have to, you know, it was just easy to go in and coach X's and O's and get through your practice plan every day with these guys, and not have to, you know, stay on them about working hard or anything like that. So I think that was totally what made coaching this team so easy, and why they were state champions.
Well, cool. Speaking of practices, can you guys tell us what was a practice? I mean, what did you guys do at practice when you guys practice?
We ran.
Died. We ran and we died.
I mean, the coach just told you if she had to do it all over again, she wouldn't run it so much. But yeah, well, we ran.
Okay. I wasn't a very good defensive player when I played. I didn't really like defense that much. I know how important it is, but I was a really offensive minded coach. So this team had a lot of speed, a lot of quickness, great ball handlers, great passers, finishers. So I think we spent probably about 60 to 70% of our time on offense. That's what I'm going to say. Maybe Coach Cooper worked on the defense. I was not a defensive minded coach, but they were a really good defensive team. Yeah. We played a lot of man-to-man defense, and, you know, again, you're talking about really talented individuals, but I know we did run a lot, but it was mostly full court, probably offense if I can remember correctly. And I got all my practice plans, but they're they're at my sister's house.
I do remember one thing I felt like we were really good at is we could, if somebody tried to man-to-man full court press us, no, we practiced how to break a man-to-man full court press. And if somebody did it once, they're like, no, they went right on back to half court because we knew how to break that press and get past them. And we also knew how to run a full court press and turn the ball over. So we worked on, I remember working on those two things a lot, which is a little bit, I didn't remember working on it before Coach Harston came. I will say that. But maybe Ramona.
We were even called the Press Express. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
Right.
Remember our T-shirts? We were like Press Express.
Press Express.
Nice.
Good Lord, Lisa.
Nice.
I do.
Ramona,
I think I have PTSD from running.
Oh, well, I had a bad attitude when it came to that, but I did it. And I know how important it was, and I'm sure it definitely made me a better player, but it was, as a 16, 17-year-old, it was not fun.
Ramona was the designated shooter. And I don't care what anybody says. If we needed points, just give it to Ramona and let her do what she does. She could score at will. And so
that's mighty.
She didn't want to really play defense and run too much because she just scored.
It was a Deion Sanders of basketball, huh?
Oh,
It was Ramona's shooting was so awesome, and just I just felt like I didn't need to shoot. I would get in trouble all the time. I would get pulled out the game. I just felt like I didn't need to shoot. Ramona was there, Becky, Rolanda. Those are the shooters. I was a passer, and I just could not get Coach Harston to understand that. I still don't know why. I was a great passer. Like, I could pass from one end of the court to the other end, nonstop, all day long. But I would always get in trouble for not shooting. I just, I honestly just didn't have a lot of trust in my shooting. And Ramona would be like, shoot it. I'd be like, no, I'm going to pass it to you.
Verlanda, I'm going to ask you this. Did Coach allow you guys to smack talk to the other players? Or was that allowed?
I don't remember.
I did my junior year, but I did my senior year.
Okay. What about you guys? I mean, Ramona and Lisa, and any of you guys. I know when it gets physical and competitive, I want to use another word, but I'm gonna say smack. I'll keep this rated G.
I don't think we talk smack. I think we act. I mean, I think I always say this, that we act like we had been there before. The play that we did on the court, everything we did on the court, we act as if we had been there before. We didn't need to talk smack to people, because there are a lot of people that doubted us, that didn't think we were gonna get as far as we did, and so I think our play did the smack talking. I mean, we won those, we won a state championship. So
absolutely. And you guys have your medals?
I do. I've got to run to the kitchen for it, though.
Okay.
I knew
she's running.
I knew it. I knew it was gonna be Becky.
when you sent that text today, I texted Lisa. I said, they have to be out of their freaking mind. I don't know where that medal is.
There it is.
Come on, girls. I knew exactly. Oops, that was backwards, and I dropped it on the computer. I knew exactly where it was.
Good job, Becky.
Oh,
that is
nice.
I know where mine is. I know where mine is in the team picture that we took at whose house did we go and take that
Bill
picture?
Ramsey.
Bill Ramsey.
Yes.
Bill
I
Ramsey.
got that picture, but again, it's all stored in nice boxes and stuff like that. I just don't have it here in Austin.
I know.
I'm sure my medal is at my mom's house, but I'm not gonna go look for it.
I framed mine, so mine's
everything
under glass.
Oh my gosh. So I have a question for y'all. So during regular season play that year, who were your rivals? What team were you like?
Or players.
Team or player that you're like, hell bent, we are gonna beat them. Like, you just
I still hate red and light blue. Monterey.
The peons.
Yeah.
Why? Why?
Probably Amarillo High.
Yeah, they had a girl, what was her name? Nikki Allen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
She was really, really good and highly
Yeah.
recruited. And I think actually that girl was a junior being recruited when we were seniors. And so they had her, and they were really fast and very disciplined team. So I would think they were, but I mean, it's always, Monterey has always been a rival, just a well-coached program at that time. So if we
And I
looked
think
at
they had
district, those
Sassy
would be,
Mouths.
Yeah. Well,
they had who?
I said Monterey talked some smack is why they got under my skin.
Yeah, when we were in school. I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, Amarillo High, I have a note here that would she coach, was Coach Rosemary Brown a teammate of yours at Wayland?
No,
the
she was
coach.
not.
Okay.
She graduated. She was a senior the year that she graduated in 75, because I got to Wayland in 76. But it's
Okay.
interesting that you bring Rosemary up, because we have a Flying Queen Foundation that I work with, and Rosemary is the secretary of the foundation right now. So I see her a lot and we talk a lot. And, those guys, like I said, they all remembered this team. And, Rosemary specifically remembered, I'm sure, since we beat them like twice that year, but it was tough. There was a couple of years.
3 times.
Yeah.
Three times. Where we split with them, and she always had, you know how great she was. And she was actually just a great player at Wayland. But Coach Jackson lives in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Just a phenomenal person. It's so funny here after all these years, and now I see her so much just because of our college affiliation.
Oh, cool. Did you play against? She may be younger than you, Kim Mulkey, because that team used to go play the Wayland Thanksgiving tournament.
Yeah,
Louisiana Tech. Did you play
Kim's
against her?
No, she's
okay.
considerably younger than I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one of the things I remember about growing up in Plainview and being in Wayland's backyard that I don't think I realized at the time, but they had that Flying Queens tournament at Thanksgiving, right? Where it was college and high school, a high school tournament. And we all grew up going to the games and watching. I mean, I got there at 8 o'clock on Thursday morning. Usually my mom would say you have to be home for lunch, but like 3 days of basketball, we watched all kinds of phenomenal teams. But we grew up watching Coach Harston play basketball, and Coach Cooper and Coach Kennedy and all the wonderful women who came out of the Wayland program and then became our coaches. And so at the time, I didn't realize that Coach Harston was not that much older than us.
Yeah, I tell everybody that they were not much older than us.
I thought they were, no offense, I thought you guys were kind of old. Right. And I realized they were really only about 7 or 8 years older than us.
Yes.
But they were kind of like our heroes because we grew up watching them. And so to have Coach Harston be our coach and Coach Cooper, I feel like we knew them because we'd grown up watching them play in college and see how tremendous they were as players. And so it was very intense to be playing against the Leveland, which was coached by Chris Kennedy, and Sudan was coached by, I think, somebody from one of I forget which one, but anyway, they were great role models to us as basketball players because they were so good, so good.
So Joy, I love that you shared that and that you have that memory. Do you think that because of that experience, watching your heroes play, that lent itself to all of you having a greater level of respect and also buy-in to their coaching program? Because you got
Yes. They knew how to win. I knew. I mean, I went to the Wayland Baptist camps in the summer, right? They all had camps where the players were the counselors and taught us how to play basketball at the camps when we were little. So I say yes. I'm sure everybody else would agree.
Yeah, and I think, and I don't know if because I was offline just for a little bit, I also like to say that, you know, we forget, but we had an amazing middle school coach with Coach Odom.
Yeah.
And that just, I mean, I kind of had to do a talk at one time about just the influence that the community, even the Flying Queens community had on us as little kids, because like Joy said, I spent a lot of time at the Queens Classic all 3 days of watching basketball from 8 a.m. to when it was over at 10, sometimes 11, depending on how well of a game it was. But and wanting to be a part of that growing up, waiting for my opportunity to play in the Classic. So the Flying Queen, they had a big impact on us growing up, because it was just a phenomenal, I mean, program, you know. So it did have a big impact on us.
Do they still have it? Do you guys know if they still have that tournament?
Oh, I don't know if they have the tournament.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
There's something they call the Queen's Classic, but it's like just 4 teams. It's a much smaller scale. You know,
I think the Caprock tournament here in Lubbock's kind of overtaken the holiday high school tournament for sure.
Were you guys even born in 1978? How old were y'all in 1978?
Yes.
Yeah,
We were 9 and 10.
Yeah.
9 and 10.
This is a really interesting story. In the summer after my sophomore year, I hurt my knee and I wasn't ready to play in the fall of 78. In 1978 was one of the best football teams that Plainview High School ever had. There were like 10 to 15 of those guys. If you remember, they got Division I scholarships. So I wasn't practicing. It was early September, and Coach Sherwood was the head coach at Plainview. You know, we got the angry red enough said that everybody in town had the little red dots on their watch and everything. And we wrapped up practice at Wayland, and Coach Weiss said, "Hey, come on, I need you to go somewhere with me." And I was like, okay, because I wasn't practicing. Was just 2 months removed. I hurt my knee in July. Yeah, just about 3 months removed from having knee surgery. So we go out to Plainview High School, out to still the same field house. And I'm like, okay, what are we doing here? And we walk in there, and there's the entire Plainview football team. Everybody's down on one knee. And the next thing I know, Coach Sherwood is introducing me. I wanted to absolutely murder Coach Weiss, murder him. And I spoke to their football team, and I'm glad that they were playing. I don't remember who they were playing that Friday night, but it was a huge game. And I was like, what am I doing here? And Coach Sherwood said, I want you to tell them what you're going through and all this thing. So I talked to the Plainview High School football team in 1978 in that field house.
Wow.
And that team, I think, is maybe they put in the gonna put in the Hall of Fame or something. I don't know, but we used to go to their football games because there wasn't a whole lot to do on Friday nights in Plainview. But I remember going to the Bulldog football games, and we went to the basketball games. You know, we were always just looking for something to do, you know, because we couldn't go to Lubbock or Amarillo because the dorms at Wayland closed like at 8:30 every night. So we couldn't, or 10 o'clock, we couldn't get too far out of town. But I remember that. And, you know, that's the very first time I met Greg Sherwood. And then Coach Sherwood was the one that ended up hiring me in 80, whatever, to go to Plainview, 84, something like that, to go to Plainview. What a great man he was, and what a great career he had at Plainview. Yeah. But that was some football team. That team was loaded.
Yes, that's the furthest team that went. They went all the way to the semis, I believe.
Yes, yes, they did.
I think did they semis or lost in quarters? But anyway, yeah, they lost to Odessa, which
they could never get past the Mojo.
Yeah, we had them on our show a couple months ago. Some of the Odessa players and the Bulldog players. Yes, we had both some teams, so we got the perspective from Odessa. That was pretty cool. So,
well, I can remember in our day the football team was very well supported. There were 20,000 people in the stadium, and we had our little following. But then as we started rolling towards Austin, our following picked up quite a bit. So it was nice that they supported us as well.
Yeah.
You know, speaking of following on the playoffs, did a lot of Plainview, besides your family, besides your families, did a lot of Plainview show up to those games?
Mhm.
I mean, was
Yeah.
was Plainview well represented?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Well, and they were
Cool.
meeting the bus when we'd come home and stuff. So, you know, the town was not just
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Nice.
What
So
was it feeling like? I'm like feeling like you're a superstar, you know? I'm sure that was an amazing feeling.
It was nice.
Yeah, it was very nice. I think that
I wanted to answer that question.
oh, I'm sorry.
She's been very quiet this evening.
She has.
you can get out of the basement. Come on, Lisa,
Right,
let her
come
out.
upstairs. Come upstairs.
Okay, give me a second.
Ramona, please tell me she doesn't live in your basement.
He does not. He does not.
Okay. I'm glad to know that. It's okay, but she shouldn't be down there. She should be right by you if she's at your house.
Yeah, so here you are on this great team. You're the underclassman, even though you hang out with these girls that are older than you, and you've got this coach that everybody looks up to. I mean, what was the thrill? I mean, what did it feel like to you coming off the bus? The town is cheering you on, and
It was something different. It was exciting. I was just excited that I got to experience it with my mom, because my mom worked a lot, and going to Austin was something that was kind of like a break for her. And I was just excited that she got to make the trip out there.
It's cool.
wonderful.
Nice.
I
Cool.
definitely remember when we came home. Y'all remember that banner before the football games? It said Angry Red Enough said that plane would fly over the football stadium all the time. And when we came home, they had that banner. I know it was like all the way across the parking lot, because I remember I was like, man, I had no idea that banner was that long, but I guess it was, since they flew it behind an airplane. And there was a lot of people that met us when we got home that Sunday evening. I definitely remember that.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
Wow. That was
All
cool.
the news media from
Lubbock.
Lubbock. There was some from Amarillo. There was a lot of people that greeted this team, and that's what makes it so fun. That's always makes it so special.
Well,
Y'all
cool.
have some kind of formal party or celebration afterwards? Do y'all remember that? Like at the school?
Did we have a pepper after? I don't remember.
But a pepperoni beforehand. I want to say
Yeah.
one of the churches, somebody's church hosted us for a meal
Yeah.
afterwards, a celebratory meal.
Well, I just felt like we could do no wrong. I mean, if I'm being honest, like, school was a breeze. Everybody loved on us. I mean, we couldn't get in trouble if we wanted to. So I don't know. I feel like you just had to say you played on that team, and you got a pass for everything. So I can't.
So tell us about the motto, take no prisoners. How did that get started? Joy.
Well, so that was something my dad he would come into the stadium and he would scream that at the top of his lungs so that we would hear that. He just wanted us to, I think, to hear him talk, he just wanted us to have this mentality, like, you gotta beat them, and don't let them think they can come back and get you, because they might. And so somebody then made up t-shirts, and then it became, I guess, I don't know, you guys probably remember better than I do. When he came into the gym, I think he was expected to yell it. And
Yeah.
Did he yell at the game time?
He would yell it when
the
he
whole
came
time.
in. Yeah.
He walked around the whole stadium. Take no prisoners.
Yeah.
No, he didn't. Wow. Well, I know your Uncle Clem, we had him on our show. He was like 6'5" or 6. He's over. Is your dad tall?
He's 6'1", maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
I will say this one time, Coach Cooper's not on here, But one time he came into a track meet, or this was like, what are we doing at a track meet saying that? But he came into a track meet one time. And I think as being a, snotty little 18-year-old embarrassed at your dad making a scene, I think I rolled my eyes and said something snarky under my breath. And Coach Cooper heard me, and she promptly pulled me aside and let me know that that was not an appropriate reaction to a dad who supported you at all costs. And it was, I really, at the time, of course, I was embarrassed, and felt bad, but I think back like, yeah, she let me know my attitude needed an adjustment over that.
Should he make you run, huh?
No, it was track season at that point. Nobody was running anymore after we won. Did anybody run track? I think Elaine ran track.
Becky did.
Becky did.
Becky did.
I think
Not
Becky
me.
and Elaine.
Not me.
Definitely not Ramona.
I was retired.
Yeah, you know what? I remember that picture. It was Benny Malone, Elaine Carruthers, and myself were the women's or track team that year.
That was it.
Well, a fun fact that I read in again Danny Andrews' article that Joy, you and your dad, I think, were the first father-daughter who went to the state in basketball.
Mm-hmm.
So you definitely grew up in a basketball family.
Yep, we love basketball in our house for sure.
Okay.
Great.
And then that year, let's see, Becky, you were MVP of the district?
I don't even recall what the accolades were on any of that, but it was just such a team effort that the little things like that didn't matter because it was what the team did.
Oh, good. And then, coach she was coach of the year.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, cool. So, let's go back to South Oak Cliff. You guys drew them in the semis. Okay. And then, did y'all play them in regular season or no?
No.
So again, I ask you guys if there were some tall girls, how did that make you feel drawing those guys? Because again, it's a large city and it's south of Dallas. So Ramona, what did you feel when you drew them?
Well, I wasn't nervous because where Lisa and I grew up over in our neighborhood, we played with boys taller than us all the time. So that wasn't an intimidating factor for us.
Okay.
But, and also we were just a really good, disciplined, defensive team. And I don't even think I was intimidated. Those girls were some girl that maybe she was 6'2", 6'3". They had a couple of girls that were extremely tall, and I don't think we were worried about it one bit.
But we were smaller all year. I mean, we were small all the time, so that really wasn't that big a concern.
And to give Coach Harston, she knew these teams like the back of her hand. We practiced against the boys basketball team. And I remember the main thing that she kept telling us was, don't go to the corner. Who went to the corner? Me.
Okay.
Why I did not shoot the ball.
Why did she not want you to go to the corner?
Because they were very good at trapping you. And once they had you trapped, that was it. So, and she said it like about 5 times. As soon as they passed me the ball, I felt myself going to the corner, but I couldn't stop. So when she had told the guys, don't let up on them, play them like you're playing guys. And I was like, wow, don't do that. So anyway, I got in trouble. She took me out. She put Rhonda in, and I was like, okay, I'm ready. And she didn't have to worry about me going to the corner anymore. Then I started back with my passing game. So
you guys might disagree with me, but personally, and I had followed them all year long because of talking with people across the state, I felt like Richland was the best team that we played in the playoffs.
I agree.
They were ranked above us. I mean, we climbed in the rankings, but Richland was ranked number one the majority of the year. They had a very experienced, they had big team, and we obviously we beat them, and we played just exceptionally well in that game. And that's what I thought. There's always one team. If I truly thought that, and Coach Cooper and she went and scouted them a bunch. If we can get past Richland, we can win this whole thing. So it wasn't like I take South Oak Cliff lightly, but I thought Richland was the best team in our path to possibly winning the state championship. I mean, South Oak Cliff, they struggled a little bit scoring with the team they had, and I felt like we could take advantage of that, and we did. But Richland had balance. They had two true post players that both went on. Ramona probably played against them in college. Both went on to play college basketball, and I thought they were the best team. But again, something that that really stood out to me about this group is they enjoyed sports. And you guys would be amazed that there's like basketball players or athletes. I'm like, hey, did you watch? And they're like, no, I really don't watch. These guys watched a lot of basketball and they watched a lot of men's basketball, and they knew the game. They all had a really, really high basketball IQ, and Lisa talking about going to the corner. Lisa knew what was going to happen, but I mean, players we just make mistakes sometimes. But she had an IQ. They all had a high basketball IQ, and that helps you so much when you're trying to play the game. Again, it's not like I had to teach them a bunch of nuances of the game. I mean, they had played basketball since they could walk, and that just makes such a huge, huge difference.
Well, Coach Harston, talking about that, because earlier you said you didn't have to coach their what was the term that you used?
Effort.
Their effort.
Listen, they were way harder on each other, than I probably. I mean, I probably griped a lot. I'm sure I did. I was 28 years old. I was young, but they were. When you have a team that holds themselves accountable, I mean, I can't ever remember, y'all, did we even have one discipline problem? No. I mean, nothing. These guys, if they did something wrong and then nobody at school told me about it, you know what I'm saying? But
we'll get to those in a little bit. But go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying they didn't, they were just took care of business, and great teams always lead themselves and police themselves. And this is what this group did. Like I said, they were probably tougher on each other behind the scenes, way tougher than Coach Cooper and I could ever have been on them. And, I don't even know if you guys know, Coach Cooper just had her other hip replaced on December the 30th. Oh. So, we've been texting, and I actually saw her, in August when we had a Flying Queens golf tournament. I don't remember when. October. I was out in Lubbock. We had a Queens golf tournament, and she came down. But she was, and they will tell you this. Janie was just a real calming influence on our team from a coaching standpoint. For everything I griped about, she could fix immediately just because of her knowledge of the game. Janie was a great player, could just as easily have been the head coach of this team I always considered her the head coach, but she took care of a lot of things. She was a great coach. I'm not even going to refer to her as an assistant coach, but all of these players respected her. She taught honors English. She had them all in class probably at some time or the other, but I can assure you right now, we would not have done this without her and her leadership and just her guidance, because Janie just such an intelligent, smart person. And, we were actually roommates at Wayland for a couple of years and played together.
Did she go coach anywhere? Be a head coach?
No, Janie ended up she got into administration, I think. She was principal, and her husband Rick was the AD at Wayland for a while, and then Rick went to Tech, and now she's retired now. But Janie just had a phenomenal career. She's been principals all over the state of Texas and did a lot of stuff for state education and went around and taught seminars. Just, just a brilliant educator, and had a great career.
Well, the
Cool.
start of our being a great team was really what a great team you two were. You
Yeah.
really complimented each other all the way. And, if you were getting high strung about something, she was calm about it. And, people managed us.
How about the day she jumped down off the scores table and went into labor with Tyler?
Oh, yeah, that's true. I remember that.
What?
Yeah. And I had to, she's like, oh my gosh. And I had to take her to the hospital, and I drove her to the football field. She was like, she called me by my nickname. She goes, we're at the football field. We are not at the hospital. I was a nervous wreck. And we got to the hospital, and Tyler was born within like 2 hours. I went back in there, and she said, remind me the next child I have, I don't want you anywhere around me. I said, don't worry, I'm not gonna be. And she jumped down off the scores table and went into labor right there in the
Wow.
Plainview gym.
Oh,
That's I remember that.
Oh, wow.
It was, yeah.
but what I was
It
going to
was-
say earlier is that the cohesiveness of you and Coach Cooper, and then the cohesiveness of these young women that, work so well together. What you had talked about earlier was you didn't have to manage this team. It allowed you 100% the opportunity to coach the team because you didn't have to manage them. And
You're exactly correct.
to me was the key to your success. You have this, fellow coach that you had that cohesiveness, and your girls had that cohesiveness, and it all just really meshed together.
And
they probably deserve to win at least another state championship in my opinion. And they're hard to win, but yeah, just because of, they just did everything the right way. And if you do everything the right way, in this game of sports and life, sometimes you get rewarded, sometimes you don't, but everything good that happened to them, first of all, they earned it, and they, you always get what you deserve. And in this case, they definitely got what they deserved. And that's what makes it so special.
Cool. Absolutely. Lisa, this is not part of the questions, but did you look up to anyone older than you that played in Plainview?
Well, of course.
Who?
Well, I had two sisters that played on the first team that went to state, Della Riggins and Cynthia Riggins. There was Gay Hempill. Well, all of my sisters played, but really my two older sisters. Like I said, Gay Hempill, Cynthia Hempill, Ramona, even Ramona. I did. I'm so serious. I've always looked up to Ramona. I even tell my daughter today, I said, sometimes I would catch myself watching Ramona actually playing. I'm not paying attention to the game. I'm watching her play. Because she was just so smooth, like silk. It was, I don't know about anybody else, but I'd love to see Ramona play. And it was just, Ramona would be at the little courts in our neighborhood. We had a court park down the street from us. You'd never not catch her on the court all day long practicing. If she wasn't at the school that was open, for a little bit, she was at the courts. And then, like I said, my two oldest sisters, and then it was, it was a lot of ladies, young women in the Plainview community. Plainview probably could have won quite a few state championships, but it just didn't pan out like that because they had some very good teams.
Well, Lisa mentions one of her sisters, Della, was in the inducted into the second class and played, actually, I think it was 79, if I remember correctly, that Malin Hunt coached with. That was the first girls team that made it to the state tournament, and they got beat in the semifinals. And then Della coached for a long time at Plainview High School, but her sister Della that she's referencing is already in the Plainview Hall of Honor. Darn it, Lisa, I
Oh.
wish you had that on her. We've been the first Riggins girl in there.
It's okay. If anybody's gonna have it, I'm glad that she has it.
Well,
That's
you should have
awesome.
shot. You
That's
should have
neat.
shot more.
So that was really an all-around athlete right there.
Ooh, no question.
She was phenomenal at anything that she set her mind to. Even today, we laugh because, like Coach Harston was saying, we love sports, and in our family, we honestly love sports. Like if you sit down with us, you probably get more from the women than you do from the men, and you would probably be like, man, like how do they know this? Like, I mean, everything: football, basketball, baseball, even now soccer is just, that's what our family has always been. And so to be able to grow up with two sisters who went to state, and then for me to come back and say, y'all went, we went and won. So,
You dangle the
that's
medal in
always
front of
good.
them. Was
Wearing her
Marlita?
medal around.
Was Marlita her sister? of yours?
Marlita is a sister. Yes.
Yeah, she was Lisa and I's age. She's in our class.
Okay. Yeah, that's
So,
correct. Yes. Marlita
Yeah.
is my sister. Yes.
Okay. Well, Joy, what about you? Who'd you look up to? Or it could be a guys too. They have to be women.
Yeah, I remember specifically watching Gay Hempel play. Christy Ade was a few years older than us, and she was a tall center, post player. So I remember watching a lot of her games and trying to figure out how she did in terms of being a post and a center. I wasn't very tall, so I felt like it was always a struggle for me to be a tall post player when I really wasn't that tall. So a lot of a lot of the Queens. I watched and admired a lot of the Queens players as a kid growing up.
Okay. Yeah, I had lunch with Christy yesterday, by the way.
Oh, you did?
And yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she still is tall. I mean, she's definitely 6'1", 6'1". But okay, Ramona, what about you?
Well, I would definitely say Gay. Gay was probably one of just to see her and watch her play with guys at the gym and then we're years younger, but we did the same. We followed in those same footsteps of playing at the gym, playing with the guys. I agree. Our IQ was pretty high. I just thought we really knew the game very well. But also, I'll say this, that I was really, I really liked Chris Kennedy. I just loved watching her. I mean, she could shoot the lights out. And so she was probably somebody that I really, really admired, just her game of being just a shooter, just a true shooter that could just, she could shut it down. So I really enjoy watching her.
Okay. Verlanda?
I would say Carmen Wynn.
I forgot.
Who's that? I'm sorry. Who was it?
Carmen Wynn.
Yeah.
Okay. Queens.
Okay.
What was it
And,
about her style of play that you admired?
She just, that was her territory down there.
So do you try to emulate her?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Was she a tall woman?
Bigger than us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Carmen was tall.
Yeah.
Carmen was over 6 feet.
Yeah, and she was wide.
Yes.
So she had a presence down there. And I'm not saying that in a bad way, but she was just like Verlanda said.
Yeah, she knew how to use her body. Yeah.
Okay. Becky?
Well, I didn't grow up there, and my dad
Correct.
was way into statistics, and he sure thought a lot of a bunch of the coaches in that area. He, what was the Nazareth coach's name? I don't even remember all the
Lombard.
Lombard and Coach Weiss, and he believed in the kind of records that they were making out there. So I probably knew more about some of the coaches than the players because I was new to the area. So
Where'd you move from, by the way?
I was in White House, Texas. It was 3A. I actually played point guard at 3A in White House, Texas, my freshman year.
Is that where Mahomes from?
Yep.
Yes, actually, it
Okay.
is. He's a
Wow.
little younger than me, however.
A little bit, yeah.
Little.
And he's got 3 rings.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
So Ramona, you guys can mention y'all played, pickup ball against the guys. Who was some of the guys you guys? I mean, I think Michael was one of your older brothers.
Michael is my brother.
Yes.
Michael
I mean, what? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, who did y'all play against?
Well,
Willie
I played-
Ansley, I assume.
Sometimes, but I played with Corey Williams,
Pat Nash, Willie.
Terrence Washington, Reuben Riggins, everybody that would come over. I mean, I didn't have a problem. Ricky Smoots. I mean, I played with everybody that was at that. If you were at the park, I played. But Berlanda's brother, even Thomas Kerr.
Thomas.
I mean, any of them that would come over to the
Andrew.
park. Andrew Jackson. I played pickup with them all the time.
Joy and Becky, did you guys play ever?
My funny story for me was I went to my 6th or 7th grade dance, the first boy-girl dance, and I put my little dress on and stood on the wall for about 15 minutes, but it was open night at my church gym. So I called home and said, somebody come get me and bring my clothes. I want to go to church and play basketball. This is not my sport.
Oh, wow.
But
I had 3 brothers, so.
I think Becky played at the park one time when she had come over to the house. Yeah. Because Becky used to come hang out with me and Ramona all the time. So but yeah, I remember Becky playing at the park, and I just, I still didn't pass. I mean, I still didn't shoot. They were still the shooters. I was the passer. So
yeah.
Okay. Well, fine. Lisa, what other questions do we have for these young ladies?
Did you have an opposing coach who was your nemesis?
Excuse me?
Did you have an opposing coach who was your rival or your nemesis as a coach?
Yeah, is that darn old Coach Weiss? I never could beat him. Drove me crazy.
And we wanted it so bad for you. I think every time we played him, we choked because we wanted it so badly.
No. Coaching in West Texas, the level of basketball and the level of coaching, you kind of had to know what you were doing, but at the same time, I mean, it was different in West Texas. I could call Coach Weiss for anything. You could call any coach for help if you needed it. And, even if it was somebody that you were going to play in 2 weeks, I mean, that's just pretty much the way West Texas basketball. And my 4 years at Wayland, I got to know so many of the great coaches that coached out in West Texas. Jim Kirkland, who was at, you guys were talking about Sudan. That's Krista Kirkland-Gerlich, head coach at Tech, her dad. I mean, Jim had great success at Sudan and some other places, and just a lot of the area high school coaches that would come and, work camp at Wayland while these guys were there as campers, and I was there as, at Wayland when we played. So I don't know. I probably lost more to Coach Weiss than I did than anyone else in my 5 years at Plainview. I don't know why I kept scheduling them, but again, a lot of it was at the Queen's Classic because we never enjoyed Thanksgiving because we were going to play 3 games that were just going to be against somebody who was in the top 5 of their class. But anyway, it made us better. But I just had such great respect, and my days at Wayland just prepared me so much for being able to stay out in West Texas and coach and go to Tech. And I actually did my student teaching my senior year at Wayland. A lot of the Queens is when Coach Sharp was at Lockney, and that's when you had to go student teaching. We would all go. There were several of us that did our student teaching under her out over at Lockney when she was coaching there. So, I mean, it doesn't get much better than that, to go from Coach Weiss to practice, go around, be Coach Sharp all day, and go to 4 or 5, she was in every junior high and practice. And, what I was exposed to was just, I mean, goodness gracious, now that I think back on it, it's just, you just don't get that type of, exposure and being around that type of coaches, like we were around, and these guys, the players they played against in West Texas, it just wasn't happening in any other part of the state. Now, it's more balanced across the state now. But at that time, West Texas girls basketball was just so special.
Do you think that's a camaraderie that no longer exists among coaches just because of how big it's gotten?
Well, it's hard for me to say because I've been out of the high school game for such a long time. I mean, I know on the college level, I wouldn't say people are real chummy, if you want to know, and best of friends, but because it's just so competitive. But it would surprise me that if the same type of friendships and didn't still occur out in West Texas. That's just the MO of the people that live out there. And one of my college roommates that I played with for 3 years at Wayland, Jill Rankin, is the head girls coach at Monterey. And by the way, I saw that Monterey Plainview score from last week. It wasn't good for the Lady Bulldogs. But anyway, and Jill was one of the reasons I went to Wayland. I saw Jill every year when I was in high school playing at the Duncanville tournament. We talk about the Queen's Classic. When I was in high school, we went to the Duncanville tournament, and that's when it was 5 days long. And instead of playing 3 games, we got our brains beat in 5 games by some of the best in the state. But I saw Jill, and it only took one phone call from Coach Weiss to call me and tell me that Jill was coming. And I'm like, where do I sign? I'm going to Wayland. I want to play with her, because she was by far not only the best player in the state, but in the country. So it's been fun to follow her success at Lubbock Monterey.
Well, she does have the top recruit in the nation right now.
Yes, she do.
and y'all need to hurry up and try to get her, Coach Harston.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to say anything just because since we are still actively recruiting,
right.
Her, I don't want somebody to turn me in and say I did something wrong on this podcast. So I'll just leave it at that.
Oh my God.
Did you guys have nicknames? And if you did, what were they? Anyone?
No,
Nicknames?
I don't remember that we did.
Oh,
Was that,
okay.
now that was blue and gold that it was pizza. Never mind.
Yeah.
No.
I don't think I called anybody by a nickname.
No.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Well, when I got to college, Coach Evans thought my first name was Damn It. I told him that when I saw him a couple of years back, and he said, "You're not very nice." And I'm like, "No, you always said it with love. I never felt rejected."
Well, I want to go back to Levelland. You said they beat you guys 3 times. Were they that good, or you just half off? Okay, so if y'all played them 10 times, would you guys beat them?
Well, I think we would have got them, and we came close one time, and then one
Why
time
were they
we
better
just
than
didn't show
y'all?
up.
And one time we didn't come close at all.
Yeah, we came close. We was 50-16. That was the worst game we played in my whole senior year. But I just remember them being I think you asked the question, like, were we intimidated? I think we were a little intimidated by them when we played them. I think that we knew they were going to be well coached. And like Coach Harston talked about, is that they could call this West Texas ball was all the same. Like, we kind of knew each other's plays. It was probably easy for them to scout us to scout them. They just executed. They're scouting, and they followed the plan better probably than us. But I think we ran a lot of similar plays.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think we were just a little intimidated by them, and I don't know if it was because Coach Weiss was their coach. I don't know that.
I think it was important to Coach Harston, and so wanted it so bad for her that we were more stressed than we should have been, perhaps.
Well, having played for him for the amount of time that I did, his teams were just so good offensively. I mean, that's where my probably love of offense came, just because that's what he was so good at. I don't think ever at Wayland we were known as this lockdown defensive team, but we shot the ball well, rebounded the ball well, and we're just really just incredibly fundamentally sound. And that's where obviously he had the biggest impact on me in my career, and that's where you kind of develop your philosophy. I mean, kind of my high school coach was kind of the same way. I mean, turnovers drove him crazy as well, but they do all coaches. But just just being solid is what Levelland. But coach he had a great run over there. I mean, he had a lot of really, really good. He just had just about 10 years of just great players back to back to back. But yeah, in my mind, he's the very best. And I was very fortunate to be able to see him quite a bit, before he passed away a couple of years ago. So it was really, really interesting to be around him. It was tough, but it just was good to get to see him. And he was still pretty sharp. He remembered beating me.
Well, to hear
Who's the
you
first
talk,
person to
Do what?
Go ahead, Becky.
Go
well,
ahead.
I was going to say, I am so surprised to hear Coach Harston say that she was more offensive minded, because we knew defense.
Mhm.
And
Well, yeah, that was
somebody
Coach
taught
Cooper,
us
though.
that. Was that all Coach Cooper? Oh man, she taught
Yes.
us defense because we knew defense.
I wanted to spend about 10% of the time on defense, really, if you want to know the truth.
Well, let me ask you girls this. All right, so we have the cell phones, we have the videos and pictures. Can you guys think of a play during the playoffs that you wish you had this? Like, I'm making you guys think now, aren't I?
I can't think of any big plays that I would have wanted on tape, but I do remember in one of the final games, Verlonda was on the floor. They pounded her to the floor, and I was breathing so hard. I was leaning over saying, "Don't get up. I need to breathe. Don't get up. I need to breathe."
I would give anything to watch the tape of our game against Richland, and I'm sure I have it somewhere, because we were just really exceptional in that game. And
if you get
these
that,
guys knew it too.
Digitize it and share it with us.
I have all that stuff somewhere. I just had to get my life organized, and it's all packed up, and would love to go back and watch that.
Anyone else?
I'm froze. Sorry, ladies.
I don't remember a specific play. I wish I could. I think for me, I wish I could go back and have video of the hotel in Austin after we won, because it was very sad I think we were a little bit sad after we won in the dressing room, because we realized that literally was the last time all of us were going to have played together. So there was a little bit of a shadow to me after the game in the locker room.
Yeah.
And then when we got to the hotel, I kid you not, you could not have squeezed another person in the lobby of that hotel we stayed at. Every person from Plainview showed up and was just packed in the hotel and packed in the patio outside. And it was like the whole town was there.
Yeah.
And I wish we had video of that.
You guys were acting sad when you threw me in that cold swimming pool. Okay, so I with my dress clothes on.
Thank God we didn't have cell phones.
Right.
Right.
Somebody would still have that.
Yeah.
Whose idea was that, and who did it?
It took several of them.
Oh, you resisted.
We'll blame it on Elaine.
Yeah.
Elaine, yes.
Say it couldn't have been me.
But I think some of y'all jumped in as well. But it was cold. I do remember that.
Yeah, it was March for sure. It would have been cold.
Oh, oh, how fun. Well, speaking of tournaments or games, did y'all have any like game day habits or superstitions?
It mattered what pair of socks I had on. You guys probably didn't know about it, but
We did know that they were going to be pulled all the way up to her knees, though.
Yeah.
yes, they were.
Becky would pull her socks all the way up. The
You
rest
get
of us
blisters.
we would pull them up and then push them back down some, but nope. Becky's was always all the way up. We started out the season, and this is, I don't know if you all remember, we were actually, we would get in our little huddle, Coach Harston and Coach Cooper go over to the bench, and we would start out with this little saying, and it was something we shouldn't have been saying. And so I think it was either Becky or Joy that said, maybe we shouldn't say that because we lose every time. Every time we say that. So
What was it?
Well,
This is we're adults here.
Senior adults.
We would say, how did it go, Ramona?
I don't know.
Remember, I would say, what's our name? Bulldogs. Where are we from? Plainview. What we're gonna do? Win. What? Win. What?
Yeah.
And remember, we would say KA, and somebody said, do y'all think they know what we're saying? But in all honesty, we did not win every time we said that. So we stopped saying it, and
Look what happened.
So, we would say that before every single game. We took the KA out because we shouldn't have been saying it. If Ramona's mom, my mom, Verlanda's, if they dreamed that we were saying that, we wouldn't have been playing basketball.
Right.
Hey, were there any other some of the younger girls that did they play hardly, or maybe did they help out? Like who would come off the bench? Because I assume you guys well. Well, besides
Verlanda was
Verlanda,
number one.
number one. Who else?
Benny Malone played a fair amount.
Cindy Hardage, Christian Moore.
Cindy Hardage was such a scrappy little defensive player.
She was.
Yep.
Okay.
Dana
Cool.
James, Lalana Votter.
Yep.
Lisa's little sister.
Yes.
Who? Yeah, Delisa Votter's little sister.
Delisa,
Yep.
yes.
Mhm.
Our class.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Lisa played also.
Right. She sure did.
And
Well-
they actually played with us. They played with us in Little Dribblers that year.
They did.
So they were
Yeah.
5th graders, but we were 6th graders.
Yeah,
So
the Hardages are the ones who actually sponsored our
coached us.
team.
Yeah, and was our coaches.
Yeah, they were our coaches.
Okay. Well, what was some of the shenanigans like you guys did? You can share. Maybe the coach didn't know.
This wasn't a shenanigan, but remember an icy night, and I was trying to drive a stick shift, and we couldn't stop for the stoplight, and I was like, "Oh, we're going." Who all was in the car that night? I remember endangering everyone.
Sure, it was all of us. I mean, the car was big enough for all of us.
Oh yeah.
Remember when it had snowed in Plainview and we were at Becky's house jumping off the trampoline? And who comes around the corner? Coach Harston, who called you that day? I've still been wondering which one of our parents called you. I know it wasn't my mama
I was
because
like, we're gonna have a broken leg here pretty soon.
Right. She was mad because she thought we were going to get hurt because it was in season, and she was like not happy that we were jumping off.
And Elaine,
We were
Elaine
pretty good.
mid-jump.
Well, Elaine had so many injuries. I mean, she had again, we were running cross country. Elaine twisted her ankle during cross country, and then she had a broken nose. Was that her senior year? I think it was the broken nose.
Yeah. Remember, Rhonda broke it in practice.
So we just had Elaine was an accident. So I guess it was a good thing you did show up because there's no telling what Elaine would have hurt.
What did you say to them? Do you remember?
I do not. Coach Cooper probably called me and told me, yeah, they're all jumping on a trampoline or something. Well, I do not remember what I told
She
them.
was mad. I remember she
probably
was
didn't have to
mad.
say anything. They probably
Yeah.
just stopped on their own.
Yeah, that was.
Give us the look.
And I recall one time we were always, some people were late, not always late, but we were late on the bus.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And I think we were playing Amarillo High, if I'm not
We
mistaken.
were.
So I think Becky or Joy could have been. I don't know who drove us out there, but we went to McDonald's and we showed up late to that bus, and she had already said, if you were late, you were not playing. I think it was not playing. I couldn't remember what the deal was. And I was late. I was in that group, Becky, Lisa. It was almost like the whole started.
But we were just glad Ramona was with us.
Oh no, I probably would have.
We knew she was not gonna leave Ramona.
I think it was just the numbers that saved us, because I think she would have proved a point, but I was worried. But we did end up playing, but she was pretty pissed off at us. I can remember that.
Actually, I think I was the last one on the bus that day, if I remember correctly.
I don't know, but I know we were.
To be totally honest, I think I got tipped off that you guys were running late, so I went inside. So y'all could get on the bus, and I got on and went, everybody here?
Right.
So I was like, I'm not sitting anybody. This guy.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that's really good of y'all to be late for that one. Most important game of the year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was a veiled threat, because there was no way Ramona was not playing in that game.
Yeah. I was like, yes, Ramona's with us.
Whatever.
We still got in trouble though. She meant what she said.
Yeah.
So
see, but that's things you learn as a young coach. You set the standard, but you don't throw out there what the consequence is going to be. Now you just say, don't be late.
Right.
Then if you're late, you're like, let's go.
So what did you guys do for fun? I mean, as a group, I mean, besides playing basketball.
I had this wonderful ferret, and everybody loved to come to my house and play with that ferret, didn't they?
Yeah.
I'm being facetious.
Yeah.
They hated it.
Yeah. Well, but we had a close team. We were all we spent a lot of time together. I think that's, and we enjoyed our coaches too. I think we probably annoyed the heck out of them too.
We did.
Coach Harston was extremely nurturing to all of us. And, I know Rhonda, if Rhonda was here, Rhonda kept her kids a lot and babysat. And so we just all we'd show up uninvited half the time at their homes and
what are y'all doing here?
Right. So I just think we were just extremely, there wasn't a lot of shenanigans. I mean, anything you have that happened and if we were doing it, it was going to get back to our thing. I recall one night I had been out of town for the summer, and I came back and we were getting ready to start school, and my mom had said, don't be late. And I think I came back and it was me, Becky, and Elaine. We came back to town and we stopped by to see Coach Harston. And I got home late. Becky dropped me off, and my mom she didn't say, my mom said, well, when I walked in, she says, she picked up the telephone, and my mom knew me, could read me like a book. She says, what happened? I said, well, Becky had a flat on 11th Street. So I lied immediately. So my mom has the phone in her hand, and she's like,
uh-oh,
this is Vicky, your mom, Becky. She says, this is Vicky. Do you want me to tell her the lie about the flat on 11th Street? And I said, no. So she knew then So I was grounded for the first week of school. But I mean, and I didn't even have to lie. I don't know why I did that, but I always remember that. But my mom, she could read me like, she's like, why would you say that then? You know, what if I called her and got her mom all worried that because you're lying on her? But we just spent a lot of time together, and I don't think it was a lot of shenanigans. If it was, I didn't know about them.
So none of you guys don't. None of you guys admit going to Nazareth, not to play.
No.
Wow, wow.
We were doing it right. I don't think I had my first drink of alcohol till I was in college.
Oh, wow.
Look at Joy. Okay.
What's that?
Lisa's the only one who did not nod no.
No.
Oh, about going to Nazareth? No, we didn't even play in Nazareth. So.
I don't think we ever did go to Nazareth to play, did we? I don't remember that. No.
So let's, one of the things we've asked, in other shows is licks. And I'm going to start with Verlanda. Licks. Did you ever receive any in high school?
No.
Wow. You were that good. What about you, Lisa? The Reagan's always in trouble.
No. You don't know our mama. No, sir. No, I never received licks. I was too afraid of that anyway. No.
Joy?
Nope.
Wow. Ramona?
Yeah, I did.
And why?
I did.
Who gave you licks?
Okay, so I'm extremely, I was pretty dramatic all the time, but I was in band my freshman year, and for whatever reason, they didn't tell me that I was a flag girl, and I had to turn in my uniform. Well, my uniform had been dry cleaned and everything. They just never told me it was due. So they wrote me up and and I couldn't do something because I played basketball at in the evening. So in the afternoon. So I couldn't do the whatever they required me to do. So they told me I had to take licks. So I made was our dean, was it Mr. Wood, Coach Woods, or Dean Woods, or somebody? I can't remember his name. But I started crying and made a big scene, and he finally just said, y'all remember Carol Massey, how little she was? And he said, I gave her licks the other day. And I said, I'm not Carol Massey. And so he just kind of tapped me and let me go. But
oh my gosh,
I made a big scene. He was probably like, I got to get her out of here, because it was gonna be a scene, an incident in there, because I would have put on a show for him, but I did not.
You were taking the licks so that you could get some form of punishment so you could play basketball?
Well, I couldn't do the punishment they wanted me to do for band because I had basketball, so they gave me licks. But that's the only time I've ever had to do that, and I got out of band immediately the next year.
Solve that problem.
Yeah.
Becky, you're the last one.
No, absolutely not.
Wow.
Coach
we were
Harston
good kids.
Licks in high school.
Do what, Lisa?
I'm asking Coach Harston if she got licks in high school.
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. My best friend and I, campus was closed, and we decided to walk down to, we didn't think anybody would even see us. It wasn't very far, just this little convenience store. And somebody told on us, and I know it was just because we were basketball players, and we were going to have to write something 500 times. It was in the handbook, or take 3 swats. And I took the 3 swats, and to this day still regret it. Should have wrote the thing because they hurt.
They can't give them licks anymore.
It was not a smart decision on my part at all, but we both took, my best friend and I, we both took it. It was not good. And then I got in more trouble when I got home, because small town. I'm like, how did you hear about this? But, my parents were really mad at me. I think I got grounded in high school. Imagine that. I think it was like a junior.
Oh my God.
Well,
They can't give them
the
licks anymore,
no.
though, right? They can't give them licks anymore.
no,
Not even in
No.
Texas.
No.
No,
no.
no.
In Mississippi, they do.
Wow.
Let's talk about the Athletics Hall of Honor. When you guys heard that y'all can be inducted, Joy, what did that make you? How did that make you feel? Because you guys will be inducted this Friday. So
I was for me, I was happy because I knew I'd get to see some of these guys again, and we hadn't seen each other in a long time. You know, we all kind of it's hard to stay in touch even with all of our modern day technologies, and so I was like, oh, it's awesome. I get to see all these wonderful ladies again, and kind of relive, because that was a special time, and so it's nice to periodically look back. They had a 10-year at the state tournament in 1997. Several of us were there, and that might have been the last time I've seen some of these ladies. So I was just happy I was going to get to see these
Cool.
folks again.
Becky, what about you?
Yeah, it's nice to be remembered. And so it'll be neat to go see the campus now and see the ladies and enjoy a game. I'm excited to see the Plainview Bulldogs play again.
Wow. Coach, what about you?
Well, this is their special moment in my mind, and it'll just be fun again. I haven't been back at Plainview High School in a really, really long time, and I know I'll see some of the same people that I knew from even back when I played at Wayland that I'm still really good friends with. But it's, again, like I said when we started the show, it's just really great for this team to be recognized, and for Plainview High School and all of those people that will be in the stands Friday night to just recognize their greatness, because they really, really deserve it. And again, they were the first to do something, and that's very hard. It's very hard to do, and they did it. So just absolute, just so proud of them and the way they represented at Plainview High School when I was there, and what they've made in their lives. And you can just tell how still to this day it's like they just saw each other yesterday, and that tells you they were just the epitome of team.
Okay, good. Verlanda?
Oh, I'm just excited that I'll be able to share this moment with my daughter, because my daughter doesn't believe that Ramona and I actually played basketball. So we get it every week that, oh, y'all say y'all did this, y'all say y'all did that, but I don't believe it. And so I told her, so I'm just so grateful that you made it this far so that you'll actually see.
Lisa?
Yeah, the same. Just glad to see everyone. Of course, I go home quite a bit because my mom does still live there. But I'm very excited to see the ladies. And like Verlanda said, of course, our children don't believe the things. So I was showing my daughter the picture of us at the house, and she just died laughing. She was like, "Wow, Mama, look at you!" And I was like, "Hey." Like, is that a good thing or a bad? She was like, no, it's just like, so y'all really won. And I was like, well, yeah, because she didn't play basketball. She was a softball player. So, but
That's
yeah,
cool.
just to see everybody.
Yeah.
Ramona?
I think they've all said it. Yeah, I think that it's just exciting to get to see everyone. And I mean, I do feel like I could go probably 10 or more, 15 years and still talk to them, and we just pick right back up, because I mean, this is a family, even though we don't see each other, we still care a lot, care deeply for each other. And I'm excited to see them, as well. So I think it's an exciting honor for this whole team, everybody that played a role in making it a success, from the coaches to every player, and I even say this, even our trainers and all them, they were a part of this team, and our manager and all that, they were just a part of this team. And so I think it's a really big honor to be recognized.
Are you guys gonna? I assume you. I mean, y'all are gonna get together. I mean, you guys discuss this. You're gonna have breakfast or dinner. I mean,
Sure, I think we're working on
I'm
it.
trying to nail down a brunch for us Saturday morning. I think Friday night will be a little hectic, but Saturday morning, trying to get us all together. And I would say, for those of you, those who may hear the podcast, our classmates from 1987, if y'all are still in town, people who followed us, we'd love to see anybody who feels like they can make it out and just come let us hug your neck and see you. So we hope you guys will come.
cool. The 90s, there was 3 more championships, correct? In the 90s. And how'd y'all feel when they won the first title? Were y'all happy for them, or were you like, oh man?
Yeah.
Well, cool.
Yeah,
We were very happy.
I mean, I'm so proud of brag. I mean, for those 3 they made, I've got tired of bragging so much.
Yeah.
I mean, I was peacock proud of my alma mater, so I think it's great. I think there's some outstanding athletes that came out of that, and I'd like to think that we set the trend. I mean, and I think it all started even with Della, and I mean that class, the Lisa sisters, and all them started making us want to be the first to do it. But then for them to just go on and just have an amazing run under Coach Wren, I just think it was just super proud of them. And I don't know, didn't feel any kind of way, but just super proud of them.
Okay.
Awesome.
I think I've gotten at least 2 or 3 times when I say I'm from Plainview, or it comes up where won the basketball championship. It's like, oh, you must be from that 1990s team, because that's what everybody knows Plainview from the 90s team, and I'm like, well, they were 5 when we won the tournament, but okay, I'm too old.
Coach, did you go to the game since you were living in Austin?
Yeah, I was just about to say I actually saw both of those teams win. They were just outstanding, and I knew Danny really, really well. He was he coached with us the last 2 years, and then when I left and came to Texas, he took over. Just a phenomenal job. I mean, just a brilliant coach. And Danny played at Wayland, and just from Seminole, just a great high school player. Talk about a guy that could shoot the basketball. My goodness, Danny could drill it. We used to go play 3-on-3 tournaments, and it used to make everybody mad because you could have 4 players and you would get one guy and it'd always go, Coach Wren, come play on our team. We used to beat a bunch of people. One summer, you guys, I want to tell this, we beat Nancy Lieberman and a team that she had. She was so mad at us. She goes, I didn't know you could have a guy. I was like, read the rules, Nancy. Pete stomped him. That's my proudest moment right there, was beating Nancy Lieberman and crew in a 3-on-3 tournament, because we had Danny Wren down in the post.
Nice. So, ladies, can you guys still ball? Any of you?
I've got a real arthritic ankle. I don't do anything like that.
I can still shoot a free throw.
Granny style or?
No, the Wayland Baptist way, right? Up, straight up.
I couldn't tell you the last time I had picked up a basketball. It's been a while.
It's been a long time since I have, and you probably won't catch me picking one up. I took Elaine's place. I'm extremely accident prone.
Question I want to ask all of you: what is one big takeaway or one big life lesson that you took from your experience of that team? I'll start with Lisa.
Oh, wow. From that team, I took away how important friendship is, and just being able to grow with these ladies and just to know them. I value friendship very much. And I don't think I've ran into another group of women that I could say that about. They were very kind to me. And I hope the same, that I was very kind to them. I loved each one of them. I love Coach Harston. I love Coach Cooper. Just being able to be a part of that team was it was everything to me. I really loved it. And like Joy said, that last game, I remember Ramona crying, and I was like, why is she crying? Did she get hurt? And I don't know if it was Rhonda or somebody said, I think it's because it's our last game. And I remember I started crying, and I was like, oh my gosh, like we're not going to practice together anymore. We're not going to be on the court, because we were really like a family. When I tell you that Becky would start at whose ever house and pick every single one of us up, and we were all in that car together, it doesn't get any better than that, and to come from a small town, and not just a small town, but because even in some small towns, you don't have that. So these ladies, even the younger classmen, I never thought, Veranda was really with us. So she always hung with us. So, I've always thought of her like one of us. She was our little sister, but, at the same time, I just loved them. I really did. I took away a lot of love from that.
Oh, that just touches my heart. Okay, Rolanda. Same question. What life lesson or what imprint, what impacted you the most about being on this team?
Well, it's more like a sisterhood. Like you had mentioned earlier, were there any things that we grew to recognize from our teammates? And I've known Ramona since kindergarten and grew up with her, and she went off to college and I went off to college, and she had a daughter and I had a daughter, and then she kidnapped me and I moved here to McGregor with her
in the basement.
In the basement. And still to this day, we have our little Saturday chit chats. She comes over and everything, and it's like we never left Plainview. McGregor is Plainview. We still, as her husband says, we talk like Plainview. And we've never heard of that before, but yeah, we brought Plainview to McGregor.
Nice.
That's awesome. Joy?
I would say Kathy, Coach Harston's I'm gonna call it her ladder, right? Where you like, hey, this is where we're going, and we got these steps to cross off. I still conceptually in my mind sometimes like, okay, I'm trying to get here, and I gotta, figure out what the steps are to get there. So I feel like that is something that I use a lot in just my day-to-day life, is set a goal and figure out what the steps are to get there. And of course, these ladies just, for the most part, obviously Becky came in late, but they inherit a layer of muscle memory for me that is who I am. Because I remember playing YMCA basketball with Ramona and Lisa and Elaine and Rhonda and everybody. So they're almost like my siblings in my heart, because I've known them longer than some of my siblings. And so I'm very proud of that time. And it's like when people say, hey, and as an adult, they say, what's something your coworkers don't know about you, right? Or what's something unique people might not guess about you today as a 50? So I'm like, well, and so that's my thing, right? I tell people we won the 5A state basketball championship when I was in high school. And so it's something I'm very proud of.
Nice.
Miss Ramona?
I think that one of my takeaway is the really how important teamwork is. I think my experience in high school and playing for this team and really playing for Coach Harston and Coach Cooper was the fact of their preparation and and Joy mentioned the ladder, but you don't realize how you just think it's a ladder. And I think you even drew it. I mean, it wasn't like it was some really artistic thing, but just that simple thing is that I utilize that in my work. I mean, and people and my staff, or they do get a little tired of me talking about. I have sports analogies all the time because sports play a huge part in building team. You build teams. I mean, that's what it's about. And so I just feel like I've taken away a lot of the things that I utilize today in my everyday life in how we and what Coach Harston did in kind of demonstrating. And you got to think you were young to be able to do this, to know that you had this, we're going to have this impact on all of our lives like this. And I just think that that takeaway from that team really helped mold me to be the woman I am today, and how I kind of live my life a little bit. And so, and also I can't, Lisa said it enough. I don't even want to go into how much these ladies mean to me, but that to me, I mean, I think it's very obvious we're a close group of women, and so this is, like I said earlier, their family, but that teamwork aspect is I just utilize that in my life. I think it's gotten me far in my career and just in life in general. So,
okay.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Becky? Yeah.
Well, personally, my biggest personal takeaway is that there is nothing I cannot do if I'm willing to work hard enough to make it happen. So, that's kind of a life motto that I learned on this basketball team. But as a group, this is definitely the team that Love built. It, that's what did it. We worked that hard for one another.
Good. Coach?
Man.
Curl.
It's I think what this team taught me during the time that I was around them every single day is what I took from them is what got me through this last year of my life, basically. They were courageous women, they were tough women. When Danny called me and told me about this, I think this class has been done in split. What, didn't they induct some in September, and then now our group here this Friday night? When he called me and told me, it's something that I thought about every single day. And I don't even know if you guys on here, and I haven't shared this with very many people at all. I think Joy knows, I don't know. But it was a driver for me. I mean, these ladies were so committed to me, and I was like, I have got to make sure that I can make it to Plainview whenever Danny tells me to be there. And I'm still here. And I have to tell you guys, I'm still in a mask. I'm gonna have to wear a mask this week, and when I'm at the gym around everyone. Hopefully, wherever we go eat, I can take it off around you guys. But I'm actually January 29th. I'm coming up on my 1 year of my heart transplant, and so you guys, I mean, you don't really know how tough you can be and how much courage you can have until that's all you have. And you guys taught me that, and Coach Cooper that, because we've talked about you. And I didn't mean to get this emotional, but I was like, Danny, I hope I can be there, because I'm sitting in the hospital waiting for a heart. And that's not, what has to happen for you to get a heart. And it's not something that you sit there every day and go, oh, I hope I get the heart today. I hope I get a heart today.
Yeah.
You just wait for a call. And so, you guys were adorable in 1987, and you're just still adorable now. You really are.
We're so glad you're going to be able to be there.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
I'm really
incredible.
looking forward to it. And actually, Danny gave me one date, and I told him I couldn't be there that date. So I don't know, maybe he moved it because of me. But I'm still at a point where I have to be very, very careful around groups of people because I can't get sick or anything like that.
Yeah.
Which I know you guys
Mhm.
will understand that, but it's kind of weird for other people. But
Mhm.
hopefully, if we go out to eat or something, we can sit away where I can take it off. But I'm gonna have to wear a mask, and it makes it really hard to hear me and stuff like that. But hey, at this point, it beats the alternative. Okay,
Heck yeah.
Right,
I'm so
right,
looking forward
right.
Eh,
just so looking forward to seeing you guys. And you guys taught me perspective every single day. You came from solid families. You're such solid people, and I wouldn't be where I'm at today without you guys, because you guys won. Because you guys won, I got the opportunity to go to the University of Texas. Let's call it what it is,
woohoo.
okay?
Yeah.
Let me tell you, you guys have pushed my career forward, and I'll never forget that. And that's the honest truth. But you guys are just wonderful people, and I'm just so proud of you.
Thank you, Coach
Oh,
Harston.
well said. Well said. Well, ladies, we've had you guys for over 2 hours. Thank you. And I want to thank Joy, who put this team together for our show. And again, we usually have parting words, but that was kind of like the parting words when you agree, Lisa Nolan. So I'm gonna have Lisa. She always does her parting words for us on our behalf. So go ahead.
Um, I'm very choked up. I'm so
Yeah.
moved by this, by all of your comments, and moved by being a witness to the beauty of these sweet friendships. I'm so, as a fellow Plainviewan and fellow Bulldog and fellow athlete and cheerleader, I'm so proud of y'all. I'm so proud of y'all. What an accomplishment, and I'm so honored to share this time with you, superstars representing our hometown. And walk with pride. You deserve it. You worked hard for it, and I've just been so moved tonight by your stories and your friendship, your camaraderie. And Coach Harston, thank you so much for coming on this show and being vulnerable with us and sharing your experience. And it's a lot of love. I'm feeling just so much love, and thank you, thank you, thank you for coming on our program tonight.
Yes. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Well, I understand that Coach, once you guys wear sneakers, Fridays is gonna make you run. So y'all be ready to run.
That'll be a sight to see.
Right.
Stopwatch.
There you go.
No way. I can use my iPhone.
There you go. So I assume one last question. I assume Coach Cooper is going to attend as well.
I don't know. She just had that hip
That's good.
replacement. But
Oh,
Joy,
yeah,
did
that's
you get a
right.
hold
They'll
of her?
get her up walking immediately.
Joy, were you able to get a hold of her?
Not this week, but I talked to her maybe a month ago, and I thought she was going to come, but that may have
Okay,
changed. She
good.
didn't say anything. I'll
Okay.
check in with her. I'll check in with her.
Okay.
So
Tell her to be there.
Well,
I have a homework assignment for somebody, and one of you just do it. Obviously, you're going to get a group picture. I'm sure it's going to be in the paper and everything. Will somebody please go to our Goat Knuckle Talk with Flo page on Facebook and post your group photo from Friday night?
Sure.
let's
That
have,
way,
yeah.
our viewers can see, you being honored, and can see what this show is about, and we can all celebrate with you and celebrate
Yes, absolutely.
so well.
Well, again, congratulations, ladies, to all you,
Thank
and
you.
Thank
safe
you for having
travels.
us.
So I
Thank
was
you.
just, I just,
Yeah,
I
thank
just
you.
flew, left Plainview today. It's cold,
Yes,
very
it
cold.
is.
So y'all have safe travels and be careful. And again, thank you for being on the show.
Thank
All
you
right.
for
Thank
having
you,
us.
guys.
Thanks, y'all.
Bye.
See you on Friday.
See y'all.
Good night, ladies.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Ken.
Very good show.
Oh my gosh, Michael.
Especially with the coach at the end. Oh wow.
I have snot running down my face. I'm like, oh, that I was so moved by all of them. Just so moved. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, they don't not only have the bragging rights of winning a state title, but it's the first team or individual to win a state title for Plainview. You know,
Girl power.
absolutely, absolutely. So, so anyway, I'm tired. Like I said, I
Yeah.
flew in today, but guys, in 2 weeks we'll have another show. This is going to be the Plainview Band Flag Corps. So stay
I
tuned.
love that show as well.
So everyone, good night and peace and love. Peace and love. We'll see you guys.